Hi everyone! Bonus Facebook Live! Woo, woo, woo! And guess who wanted to come? Oh, there he goes. Phew! Charlie was right here. Charlie from the last one. You guys are getting to know all my kitties. Um, so today I wanted to quickly talk about the number one way to market your books. Okay, so this is actually the number one marketing method ever, which is drum roll, word of mouth. Okay, word of mouth marketing is the number one method of marketing. And the reason that it's the number one method of marketing, I think I got a cat hair on my nose. Ah, say hi, Johnny. Hi, Johnny. The reason it's the number one is because people are much more likely to take a recommendation from somebody that they know and trust versus an advertisement. Okay, so if somebody's like, hey, hey, what's your favorite pizza place? And so you say the pizza place, people are way more likely to check that out than they are if they see like a Facebook ad for a pizza place. They're like, oh, yeah, I could try it. I might not try it. I don't know. But recommendations from someone they know and trust, like bazillion times more likely to do that. So the number one method of marketing your book is word of mouth. Okay, so what does that mean? How do you do that online? Like, how does that work with selling books online? How do you use the word of mouth, marketing method when you're online? And first thing I want to tell you, the overview of using word of mouth online, the genius and brilliant thing that you have done is you've decided to be an author. And in authorship is a very unique business. It's a very unique mode of creativity because your audience, there's no competition with other authors. Okay, so like, let's say you were a photographer. If you were a photographer and you were trying to compete for one job, there can only be one photographer at that job, right? But with authors, as an author, your audience is readers. And so readers can read a lot faster than you can write. So there isn't any competition with other authors. In fact, you can utilize other authors, and this is where I'm going to talk about the word of mouth. You can utilize other authors to build word of mouth for each other. So, because there's no competition in this situation. Like, you guys, it's so beautiful because readers just want more books, and there's no way you can produce all the books as fast as they can read them. And so actually giving your audience more books, even if they aren't yours, is better. So with that in mind, that is one of the ways that people can market by selling books online. I got my notes here, and so that's why I'm looking down, and I got kitty number 2. So some of the ways that authors can use word of mouth, how you can use word of mouth, is by promoting other authors on your online platforms. So yes, Megan, I'm telling you, you can read more than one book. Once you read one book, no, you guys know, when you read one book from that one author, that's the only author you can ever read for the rest of your life. Pressure. No, of course, people can read lots of books, and that's so brilliant. It's so wonderful. So authors can recommend other authors' books on the Facebook pages, just on their regular Facebook. It doesn't even have to be like an official author Facebook page, just on your personal Facebook page. You can do it on websites. You can do it in newsletters. You can do it word of mouth to other friends. Like, you're like, hey, I'm an author. It's people are talking about reading. You know who I just read? I love Carrie Moon. Like, her books are awesome. Do you like Bear Shifter books? I do too. You're going to love her books. So that's how you can utilize this word of mouth marketing as an author. Now, there's other ways to utilize it though, when it's kind of like this implied recommendation. So if you're reading an author that you trust or that you like, there's this kind of implied trust that's been built because you liked their work. And so one thing that you can do is you can actually join an anthology with other authors. And so if one of those authors has a fan and they want to buy that anthology, just by association, you have now kind of word of mouthed, like you have, you know, benefited from that trust that that author has built with their audience by being in the same anthology as that author. Okay. And same with your readers. The other authors in the anthology are benefiting from your trust that you've built with your fans by this kind of association. Another way that you can do is at the end of your ebook, you can actually, at the end of your ebook, some authors actually leave like little snippets of other authors' books. And I'm sure it's cross promotion, right? So it's like, hey, if you liked my book here, you might want to check out so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so's book, right? So especially when you're just starting out, like when you have a whole bevy, like, you know, 20 books to choose from, you can put your own books in the back. But when you're just starting out and when they're just starting out, it could be really great to cross promote from the people who have chosen your book or their book. And if they liked yours, then this other author has the opportunity of choosing theirs and vice versa. Okay. And just generally like sharing and reposting and win-win promoting each other. Like that's the beautiful thing, is there's no scarcity model in marketing in being an author, because there's more than enough people who are reading and they can read really fast. Some of them, like me, maybe. Okay. So with all of those recommendations and all of that word of mouth, the key to doing that, here's where you get to the practical steps, you guys, because all of that was kind of abstract, like, oh yeah, this is how you can do it. The key is to start building those relationships. Like you can see that you need to start building relationships with other authors. Hi, you guys. You have to start building relationships with other authors in order to be in that anthology, you know, or in order to participate in the back of that book, you know, and say, hey, a cross promote on the back of the book. You have to have those relationships built, you know, because you have to know somebody who's also writing in your genre. And so the key is to start building those relationships now so that when you're ready, you can utilize them. And let's see. So yeah, because if you don't have those relationships built, how are those other authors going to promote you when your book comes out? Because they don't know you. They won't even know who you are. So the practical thing that you can do right now is to make a list and start interacting with, make a list of authors. Yes, April, great. Make relationships with people by the things that you have in common. So Carrie, and I have Carrie said, how do you build the relationship though? And that's what I'm super excited to talk to you guys about today, because one thing you can do is you can make a list of these authors and just start interacting with them on social media every day. Like, hi, how are you doing? But that can be a little bit awkward. There's like a hump of like, until you guys are familiar with each other, then it's not really a relationship. It's just kind of one person reaching out to another. And I am like the queen of relationship building. Yeah. April, I'm going to tell you, Carrie, okay? I'm the queen of relationship building because I've moved a bazillion times. And so I know exactly what helps build relationships really quickly, because every time I moved, I was the new person and I needed to make friends. And so the key to building relationships is being vulnerable really quickly and hanging out where your people hang out. So where do your people hang out and how can you be vulnerable with them? ASAP. How can you build that commonality and hang out with them? Well, if you don't want to just start interacting with people on social media all the time, yeah, I'll tell Anne. Okay, what do I mean by being vulnerable? It's usually like usually if you go, let's say, let's talk about here's where it's going to come up. Okay, so what I am creating and what I'm inviting you guys to participate in is we're doing an experiment in the All Writers Welcome, and we're starting with paranormal romance authors, which is, I know, here's Charlie. He loves it when we do these. He wasn't even here. He wasn't even here until I started the Facebook Live. What we're doing is we are going to start an author networking events, genre-specific author networking events. And networking is kind of like the formal way of saying it. It's really going to be like wine and writing, okay? But we will also have a networking component so that you can actually get to know who's writing what books and when the books are coming out and how you can cross-promote these people. So I have so it's genre specific networking online. So let's say to be vulnerable, if you were to go to a networking event, and I'm getting back to the vulnerable bit, Anne, is they usually have an icebreaker. And the icebreaker is you do something really goofy. Thank you, Megan. You do something really goofy that makes you kind of uncomfortable, and that uncomfortable feeling is being vulnerable. Okay, like, so when I started doing Facebook Lives, sharing my little kitty here and being totally goofy, that's vulnerable for me. But it also, when I'm vulnerable, then you get to be vulnerable back, and then we get to make a connection of our hearts. So icebreakers are usually vulnerable. Like, you're like, oh, let's everybody grab somebody's hands and then let's untwist. I don't know if you've ever done that one, or, you have like a thing on your head and you have to go around and say, what name am I? Or something like that. Okay. Which you're like, I'm goofy right now, but it's making me laugh. And that's how we build friendships and relationships. So we're doing an experimental. Yeah. Okay. And you've got it. Thank you. So we're going to do that, but you're going to have me hosting, me or Megan, but probably me for this first one, because I'm a paranormal romance fan. I love paranormal romance. And so we're going to collect all these paranormal romance authors, if you guys are interested, and do a networking and like event once a month. And where you guys get to meet each other, talk about what you're working on, and then promote each other when the time is right. So if you have your book has just come out, or it is coming out, or you're new. So yeah, so then if all this is coming out and new, then you guys can promote each other. And so the first event is going to be this weekend. It is the wine and writing event for wine and co-writing for paranormal romance authors. Okay, so if you are interested in participating, and this one is just going to be, let's get together, meet some other paranormal romance authors and write at the same time together and visit and have a little wine. Then you're going to want to sign up and hang out with us, and we'll be doing multiples of these. So go ahead and sign up, even if you can't do it this weekend, because this isn't probably going to be the only time that we do a co-writing, and see what happens. And where you can sign up for that is allwriterswelcome.com/para-romance. Okay, so I didn't do whole paranormal romance. I just did PARA romance. So it's allwriterswelcome.com/para-romance. And then we will, hi, Lori. Yeah, you guys are I love you guys so much. So we are, I'll be sending out the invites or the invites to the first 100 people, because that's as many people as we can fit on our platform that we're using. We use Zoom, and we can fit 100 people in the room, at the same time. So the first 100 people that sign up, and who knows, 100 people, yes, we're aiming for 100 people. Invite all your fellow paranormal romance authors to come hang out with us and do some writing together and meet some other people, and then visit and socialize and build those relationships and make those connections, so that when your book comes out, you can go to them and say, hey, you guys, I need somebody to share my book online. Can you, I posted it. It's available for 99 cents. Can you share it? Yes, please. Or hey, there's a lot of places to go with this. Like, we could look at like reviews. We can look at like, we'd have people doing reviews for each other and all kinds of fun stuff. So there's a lot of possibilities, but this first one is just going to be hanging out and visiting and writing. Okay. And meeting each other and writing together and drinking a little bit of wine if you want, or tea, or whatever your beverage is of your choice. And so that information will come out in an email. The first 100 people will get to attend, and it's usually some of you guys who've hung out with me on a co-writing or just any other calls. April, Lori, do we have a good time together when we hang out online? We usually have fun. We usually have a lot of fun. So please come check it out. Invite other people, because the more the merrier, in terms of if they are writing paranormal romance books or have written already. Okay. So thank you so much, Megan. Thank you for putting the link up there. It's allwriterswelcome.com/para-romance. And we're going to have so much fun. Otherwise, you guys, if you aren't doing paranormal romance, go ahead and start interacting with go and make a list of your favorite authors, or the authors that are in the similar genre as you, and start connecting with them. Start building those relationships right now. Okay? But if you're in paranormal romance, come hang out with us. Or if you're not in paranormal romance, but you are interested in participating in something we're talking about, leave a comment, because this is just our first experiment. But if there's like a bunch of mystery writers that are like, I want one too, we can totally hook you up. Okay. Thank you guys, everybody. Thank you so much. And I will hopefully see you this weekend on co-writing, wine and co-writing. Yeah. Oh man, I'm so goofy. That's why it's going to be so much fun. Bye.